One of the craziest things that got revealed over the last few years around crypto was Operation Choke Point 2.0. And even today, it is still one of the biggest topics around the space because it is very important to focus on what's actually happening behind these, governments, especially when we think about the US government that has a ton of control over almost everything because, again, the US dollar dominates the financial system. So whatever they do, whatever they push, whatever they block, guess what? It's a very big deal. And one of those big blockers was the fact that the biggest players like the FDIC, the Fed, the SEC, all pieces of the US government system, they were a part of Operation Choke Point 2.0, blocking crypto, completely shutting crypto out. And this is still a very big problem even today when we do have an active case going on between Ripple and the SEC. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So let's dive on in to this post here from Smoke Dog, which is the FDIC's secret war on crypto, how the agency crushed innovation in American banking. For decades, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, has positioned itself as a guardian of financial stability, ensuring over $10 trillion in deposits across more than 4,600 U.S. banks. As an independent agency, the FDIC operates under the oversight of the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Treasury, and Congress, giving it broad authority to regulate banks and control access to financial markets. Newly uncovered documents released this month, February of 2025, show that the agency used this power to block banks from adopting blockchain technology, preventing them from offering crypto-related services and slowing financial innovation in the United States. Now, this is very important to focus on now, and the reason for that being, this new admin has completely shifted this, meaning we are now getting into the point of the US government ultimately allowing banks to actually adopt blockchain technology, use this technology, and even offer this technology and services utilizing this technology to their clients. This is huge. Now, we also have a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA request uncovered 790 pages of internal FDIC communications exposing a coordinated effort to pressure banks into avoiding crypto. The agency justified its actions as risk management, but imposed restrictions that had no clear approval process or end date. The FDIC sent pause letters to more than 25 banks between 2022 and 2024, ordering them to halt or delay crypto-related activities. Internal emails confirmed that these restrictions were part of a broader effort to limit blockchain adoption. The FDIC backed these efforts with restrictive policies. While the FDIC imposed these restrictions, other countries moved forward. Switzerland, Singapore, and even the UAE welcomed digital assets and positioned themselves as leaders in financial innovation. The U.S. banking sector, unable to compete under FDIC constraints, abandoned or delayed projects that could have reshaped the industry entirely. Bitcoin trading platforms, blockchain-based settlement systems, tokenized deposits, and crypto-backed financial products never reach consumers. For a closer look at the specific emails that reveal the FDIC's behind-the-scenes efforts to block blockchain adoption and crypto-related activities, see the thread below. These emails highlight the agency's strategy and internal discussions that were previously hidden from public view. And guys, when we look at a lot of these documents, they are insane. They fully confirm exactly what we thought was happening, which is the fact that crypto was on the chopping block. And also, we have Operation Choke Point 2.0 exposed unredacted FDIC documents to reveal the truth by March 13th. Now, I am fully focused on this because I do think that we are about to see some very significant information coming out behind all of these major agencies. The reckoning for America's crypto crackdown is here. Within days, unredacted emails and letters from the FDIC documents the government fought to keep hidden will expose a deliberate effort to strangle crypto innovation under the guise of financial risk management. The first cracks in the cover-up appeared on February 5th when redacted emails surfaced. Even with key details blacked out, the evidence was damning. The response was immediate. By February 27th, the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and government reform had already flagged alarming misconduct, moving swiftly to assess the full scope of regulatory abuse. The speed and intensity of the response makes one thing clear. This administration is serious about exposing both the victims and masterminds behind Operation Choke Point 2.0, and now the moment of truth is coming. By March 13th, the full, unredacted documents will be public, revealing exactly what banks were pressured, which crypto services were shut down, and who inside the government gave the orders. The significance: names will be named, timelines will be exposed, and the shadow campaign to crush crypto in America will finally be dragged into the light. With the market at a breaking point in 2025, these revelations could force the biggest shift in crypto regulation yet. It will ignite the policy overhaul needed to break crypto free from bureaucratic stranglehold once and for all. And yeah, guys, I do think that a lot of this information, a lot of what is happening around the space, uncovering Operation Choke Point 2.0, guys, you got to understand that this is all one big accelerant to actually get crypto regulations right. That way, nothing like this ever happens again. And you know what? Remember what Brad Garlinghouse did say. Once we actually see the information coming out, and he's just talking about the SEC, he's not even talking about the FDIC, he's not talking about the Fed, he's not talking about any other major agency, just the SEC. He said once you see their information, once the information behind the SEC, the emails, everything comes to light, guess what? It will shock you. The behavior that this agency, the way that they behaved, the way that they, upheld themselves, it will shock you. Because they are completely just, when we think about this agency, we're not just talking about under Gary Gensler. No, we're talking about even prior. This is a government agency that acted in such an anti-innovation way where they were going after companies no matter what, and they even caused so much harm to retail investors, the same investors that they are, supposed to be protecting. I can't wait to see what Operation Choke Point 2.0, these documents, when they fully come out, I do think that the SEC will be named in them. I really hope that we get to see these on March 13th. Now, on top of this, remember that Cynthia Loomis, she's also been speaking out about Choke Point 2.0. As we learn the extent and the injustices of Choke Point 2.0, I will be working closely with the FDIC Vice Chair Travis Hill to put an end to the assault on digital assets. Followed by, she said Choke Point 2.0 is real and it must never be allowed to happen. This is just over the last month. Check this out.
Well, certainly the bank supervision component of the Fed was telling bank examiners that you could assess risk based on beliefs, whether a bank president had conversations that were expressed that were controversial. And that's in memos that we discovered at the Fed. So these were federal regulators, unelected bureaucrats going after bank customers, choosing who could have a bank account, who couldn't, which businesses were going to have to go out of business because these little bank examiners didn't like the business. So we know the government was part of it. We need to find out further whether the banks themselves were part of it or whether the debanking was actually directed by the executive branch of our government. And then we need to decide whether we need to be able to get FOIA to get Freedom of Information Act access to the Fed, whether we need to have certain new people at the Federal Division on Bank Supervision that are confirmed by the Senate. What we do know is there is inadequate oversight of the bank supervision function at the Federal Reserve.
And yeah, this is exactly what we want to see. This is what we want to actually get, put into place. We want to see these things in action. We don't want to just hear about it. We heard for years about how the SEC was failing and not doing their job. And it took well over 4 years to finally get something going. So now I'm hoping that we could start to accelerate these things. I hope that we could finally get back to the point where crypto is not only being pushed forward, but it's thriving completely. But for that all to happen, we need names named. We need to see everything, completely transparent. Even right now, Operation Choke Point 2.0 is still ongoing. For an example, from Eleanor Tourette, she posted this back in the beginning of February. This was from Al Green. This is a congressman that also put in his opening statement that he said that Operation Choke Point 2.0 is a fake program and that Biden, specifically the Biden administration, did not prohibit banks from dealing with crypto. But we already know that this is false. They did. An interesting point to note, Green references crypto-friendly banks Signature and Silvergate, both of which closed during the regional banking crisis in 2023. Green says they closed in part due to their involvement in the digital asset sector. What Green didn't mention is that regulators in 2023 imposed a 15% cap on crypto-related bank deposits. For a bank like Silvergate that relied mostly on crypto clients, scaling back its primary business to 15% was untenable, and the bank ended up voluntarily liquidating. Now, on top of this, okay, we did hear from CNBC regarding this. The final chapter, the war on banks, is about to end. Crypto custody, Choke Point 2.0 will be history. There is now a consensus on this, and the only thing missing is regulatory clarity, the real flip of the switch moment. Now, talking about that real flip of the switch moment, guys, we know that President Trump just announced a crypto strategic reserve consisting of Bitcoin and top cryptocurrencies, including XRP. Now, he did say that this is consistent with his week 1 executive order. President Trump is keeping his promise to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. More to come at the summit. And we know that this summit is only days away now, and that this is going to be hosted by President Trump. And it's going to include prominent founders, CEOs, and investors from the crypto industry. We know that this is most likely going to lead to the Ripple case being completely dismissed. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it this week. But remember that this is to promote crypto in the U.S. This will not only push crypto forward in the U.S., but it will accept those U.S.-based crypto companies that have been here for years and years and years, putting in all the hard work, the time, and even the legal fees to still be operating today. Ripple is one of them. I do think that we already started to see the shift, but we look at what's about to happen with the big banks. The big banks are now going to get that green light completely. They already have it because of, SAB 121, but now we're going to see adoption completely skyrocket. We're talking about complete acceleration of everything around crypto in TradFi. But check this out.
To the conversation in Washington around debanking. Trump spurred a wave of conversation early in his latest term when he claimed in front of the World Economic Forum that banks locked many people, particularly conservatives, out of the financial system. But there was another group that has long argued that it's been shut out of the U.S. financial system, crypto businesses. And quickly, that conversation found its way to Capitol Hill with hearings in both the House and Senate tackling the issue.
The past 4 years, and particularly the debanking that has gone on, has been just in a whole host of ways negative for the crypto industry, whether that's more of the business moving offshore, whether that's loss of trust in the American financial system, whether it's just the heartbreak of many entrepreneurs who were not able to build their businesses.
Now, the crux of the industry's complaints center around the idea of Choke Point 2.0, the claim that the Biden White House used its administration and regulators to target crypto businesses and push them out of the financial system. The 2.0 comes from a similar tactic that the Obama administration allegedly used to go after banks that backed gun manufacturers, payday lenders, and more. Now, the industry believes that with Trump in office, the barriers that it sees to using U.S. banks may start to fall. The FDIC released hundreds of documents detailing its communications with banks and businesses that deal in crypto in the hopes of being more transparent in its dealings with digital assets.
Coinbase is for its part, attempted to shine a big bright light on this, particularly as it has taken place at the FDIC and its oversight of banks. We've exposed, for example, that pause letters were sent by the FDIC to bank after bank after bank all across this country that wanted to do nothing more then offer crypto-related services as part of their portfolio of products and services.
And SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce promised a new open door policy for people to discuss crypto as the agency begins to unravel its harsh stance on digital assets, including rolling back a rule that paves the way for big Wall Street banks to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And as for debanking, the industry wants a rollback of regulatory barriers and new rules that foster crypto innovation. President Trump's executive order on crypto said as much, that the U.S. will protect and promote fair and open access to banking services for all law-abiding individual citizens and private sector entities alike. There's hope that Congress is listening as well.
No one wants to see anyone denied basic banking services on the basis of their political views or whether they happen to work in an industry that might be out of favor with the current administration. We've seen Democrats like Maxine Waters also voice support to these efforts to shine a bright light on this. We've seen Republicans like Tim Scott also take up that charge alongside of French Hill. There are, I think, concerns across the political aisle and across the Congress that banking services have in the past been weaponized in order to run roughshod over those who may be out of favor.
The meta level point must remain that if this can happen to some of us, it can happen to any of us. And we certainly should not have a banking system that on a whim can pick a set of people who are disfavored and cut them off from the banking system. Both sides of the aisle in the hearing today recognized that that is not something that should be possible. And both sides, I would say, proposed policies and particular agendas that would help to strengthen the banking protections available within the United States.
But what the industry and banks really need are what they've been asking Congress to create for some time now, a regulatory framework for digital assets, which will make banks and businesses more comfortable working with crypto.
I think right now we're in a discovery phase. And then I think you're also going to see, similar to what has happened at the FDIC, likely to see other kinds of transparency happen as more of the new administration's appointees take over at the various government agencies.
I think what the banks and financial institutions are all going to be looking for is regulatory clarity in the form of rulemaking by the SEC, legislation passed by Congress, and the commitment of the administration to finally addressing the serious concerns around debanking that Coinbase and others have raised now for some time.
So yeah, I do think that all of this will be completely addressed, and I do think that's going to accelerate all of the regulatory shifts that we needed to actually see. For an example, all of the major moves right now from this admin, we are starting to I feel like we're seeing the beginning stages of regulatory clarity. Okay, I think that these meetings with prominent founders, CEOs, and even players from this space, I think that this is all going to lead to even more information, being given from players in the space, people that are here for, well over, we'll say a few years. But we know that a lot of the players that are founders and CEOs, they've been here for like almost a decade now. So they're going to, really kind of outline everything that they need in order for this space to fully thrive. And regulatory clarity is that thing. That's the missing link. That's the missing piece for us to actually fully scale and, for crypto to become a massive piece of the global financial system. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.